Hi friends, it's Shuba. Welcome back to my channel. Let's get right into this video. I was tagged by Chelsea from Libraries and Lattes for this quick to judge book challenge. I love watching book tags and book challenges, and if you tagged me in a video before, I am trying to be better about creating book tags after being tagged, and I want to keep the chain going, but that's something that I'm trying to work on. This book tag just seems really interesting to me. I love the idea of this quick to judge book challenge. Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be choosing a certain number of books. It's supposed to be 5 to 10. I'm not sure how many exactly I'm going to be picking, and after I choose the books, we're going to read the first few sentences to a paragraph of each book, and then I'm going to rank all of those books from favorite to least favorite. And by the end of it, I'm going to add that number one book, my number one favorite out of the selection, onto my May TBR. Chelsea and I are very similar, it seems, because in her video she mentioned that she is not going to have a strict TBR for May, and I'm not really either. There are a few books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of May, but I'm keeping it more flexible and mood ready. So I thought this video would be perfect because I could focus on not only my TBR, which I am trying to get through reading my physical TBR. The books that I'm going to be choosing are books that I've had on my bookshelf for about a year. I was going through the books on my bookshelf, and it's these two shelves are the books that I haven't read yet but I own, and I've gotten through a lot of the older books, but there are a few stragglers that I've had for maybe a year or a little bit over a year for when I first started BookTube, and so I want to make sure that I get to those books. So those are the books that we're going to be choosing. Let me go choose the books and then we'll get started. I can't wait. I've selected 8 books, and we're going to be reading the first few sentences to a paragraph and then ranking it by the end to see how I feel, and then we're going to read that book in May. I'm keeping this super flexible, reminding myself this is for mood reading, but also focusing on my TBR. I'm excited for this because maybe this is going to give me a chance to obviously, it's going to give me a chance. It's going to give me a chance to read some of the books that I've been putting off for the longest time. The first one is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I've had this book and the second book for way too long. I know that Reagan from Peruse Project, she's obsessed with the series and this author, and that's really the reason why I picked this book up. But I've been so intimidated by this book. It's so chunky and it's full fantasy, and I'm actually really excited to get back into my fantasy era as I'm reading Mistborn trilogy with Chelsea. Let's see what the first page, chapter, paragraph. We're not reading a full chapter. Chapter 1, Orca. The year 297 of Friorald, the Age of Peace. Okay, this is a Nordic inspired fantasy. Yes, Norse-inspired epic of blood and vengeance. So I'm not going to know how to pronounce some of these words. I apologize in advance. Death is a part of life, Orca whispered into her son's ear. Even though Brekka's arm was drawn back, the ash spear gripped tight in his small white-knuckled fist, and the spear-headed aimed at the reindeer in front of them. She could see the hesitation in his eyes, in the set of his jaw. Interesting. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel, but I could do fantasy maybe. Yeah, I mostly have romance for the other books that I'm planning on reading in May. So this could be an option. I am gonna put it higher up on the ranking because I know I just need to get over my fear and read this book. Let's move on to the next book. Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy. I don't even know when I got this book. I tried to look back at older YouTube videos to see if I had gotten this in a book haul, and I can't find it, which makes me think that I got this before I started Booktube. My first Booktube video was December of 2023, so I bet I got this right before I started my Booktube channel. I think this is a fantasy dystopian story about the world ending, or maybe global warming. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, it's been on my TBR for a while, so let's see what the first paragraph says. Prologue, you are here. Let's start with the end of the world. Why don't we? Get it over with and move on to more interesting things. First, a personal ending. There is a thing she will think over and over in days to come as she imagines how her son died and tries to make sense of something so innately senseless. She will cover Uche's broken little body with the blanket, except his face, because he is afraid of the dark, and she will sit beside it numb, and she will pay no attention to the world that is ending outside. The world has already ended within her, and neither ending is for the first time. She's old hat at this by now. Interesting. I want to know more. Also, very fitting, Earth Day just happened, so I could retroactively make up for it by reading this book. Okay, so this next one is The Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello. I actually have the entire trilogy, and I got it last Independent Bookstore Day with Logan. So it's been literally a year since I've owned this series, and I haven't read it yet. Actually, fun fact, I accidentally bought the second and third book when I was shopping, and then went back and got the first book because I was like, I got the wrong book. I might as well just get the entire trilogy. Here we are. This is a contender since it's been on my shelf for a very long time. Prologue. The little girls played in a puddle of blood. They didn't realize it was blood, of course, nor did their nursemaid realize they had slipped from their rooms to find their ways into the dangers hidden under the palace. How would she? This part of the Thief Kingdom was chained and watched by so many doors and spells and beastly stone guardians that the Thief King himself would be hard-pressed to enter unannounced. But such obstacles when it came to curious children were as easy to avoid as they were maneuvering through a spider's web. Only one needed to be small enough to fly straight through it. Not gonna lie, this first paragraph doesn't seem very interesting to me. And it's hard for these books because we're only reading the first few sentences or the paragraph. So how are we to say if we're going to enjoy the book or not just based off of that? And I think that's the whole point of this challenge. This is going to go after the first few books that I talked about. Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. Sierra Simone is a local author. This is the Lioness trilogy. I have the first two books, and I got this last year at Independent Bookstore Day as well. So this is a hot contender. All of these really are, can't lie to myself. Prologue. In Washington, D.C., even the moon looked like a lie. The man stood on the balcony and stared at the red disc that looked painted right onto the night. His sister came and joined him at the railing. The sounds of wedding laughter and dancing filtered in from behind. Well, she asked, my plans haven't changed. This is supposed to be a Tristan and Isolde retelling, but in an urban setting, I want to say. I already have a few romances on my May TBR, so I'm probably not as inclined to read this book. Gotta be honest with myself. Sourdough by Robin Sloan. This was shared with me by my good friend AJ. They sent this over to me because they read it. I'm not sure they enjoyed it as much, but I am a big sourdough baker at home, and I think AJ just thought that I would really enjoy this book. And I know, AJ, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I've been putting it off for so long, and this sounds so mean now. I don't really think I want to read it, but also I think you should always give a book a chance, and it's okay if you DNF it. Just give it a chance. So that's why I'm giving this book a chance. Let's see what the first few pages say. Also, I've had this book added to my holds at the library for the longest time, and I keep putting it off because I keep thinking, okay, maybe I'll listen to the audiobook. Maybe I'll read it with my ebook, because I feel like when you're using an e-reader, you read a lot faster, right? Right? That's how math checks out. Number one, eater. It would have been nutritive, gel for dinner, As always, if I had not discovered, stuck to my apartment's front door, a paper menu advertising the newly expanded delivery service of a neighborhood restaurant. I got nothing for you. I have no feelings. I'm so sorry, AJ. I will read it at some point. Just not right now. Not right now. Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth. I have had this book since about March of last year, so over a year. And I kind of want to read this during the fall. I feel like it's more so of a fall book based on what I know about it, but I'm just giving all of these books a chance. Maybe this first paragraph will surprise me enough. 1. The night Ralph's mother flayed her forearms, a woman in a red dress handed him a business card. I know how woman in a red dress sounds because I thought the same thing at first. When I got back to the ICU waiting room with our sodas, I said, "What do you mean, woman in a red dress?" A Jessica Rabbit type woman, va-va-vooming down the hall, pendulum hips pounding, sound waves into the souls of Christ, said Ralph. No. That actually sounds interesting. I've heard really good things about this story. And this time last year, I actually did a female rage, unhinged woman video vlog where I read these types of books, and I had such a good time. So maybe I will put this up top and I will surprise myself. This is more so a literary fiction horror, which is why I was thinking of adding it to maybe September or October, but I might be in the mood for this, actually, based on how quirky the writing style is in that first paragraph. The Prison Society by Gabby Salas. I've had this book for a year now. I got it last year on Independent Bookstore Day with Logan as well. This is a local author, and I love the cover. That's kind of why I picked it up. This is just a quirky, spicy, contemporary romance that has to do with a game show, I think. I could be wrong. Something about a club, the Prison Society. So I'm wrong, but it's childhood friends to lovers, which I'm a fan of. Prologue. Emma, will you please explain why you decided on a college that requires such a lengthy flight? Liam's voice echoed in the hallway outside my bedroom, cutting through the busy atmosphere of last-minute packing. I turned to face him as he leaned against the frame of my bedroom door, the fabric of my packed-to-brim suitcase straining under my hands as I wrestled with the zipper. I need more. I need more from that paragraph to get myself to read this book. I already have quite a few romances. I say that I keep putting things off. See, this is why. But this is good. I'm acknowledging it, and maybe I'll put these books from my TBR separately, so I'm always aware that these are my oldest owned books that I need to read. Now, one more. Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings, also purchased last year at Independent Bookstore Day. I love the cover. I love a queer romance. This just sounds really sweet. Even the back says, Maisie Eddings' writing is authentic, emotional, and intensely romantic. To me, it's like a Taylor Swift song on book form. I know this has to do with a flower farm, and I had started reading this book because I have one annotation sticky tab. That's it. Maybe now is the time. Chapter 1, Opal. I feel, to put it delicately, like a... Can I say this word? Do I have to bleep it out? And said, feeling is becoming far too familiar, comfortable even, like re-wearing the same pair of sweatpants for 6 days straight without washing them, because if I don't leave my couch during that time, do they actually get dirty? Yes, I know they do. Yes, I am mentally ill. Thanks for asking. This sounds funny, but there are content warnings, which I do appreciate. It says grief after loss of a loved one, complicated relationship with alcohol, parental neglect, and abandonment. I've heard really good things about this book, though. I'm just not sure it's the one. Okay. Now that I've read the sentences of the books, let's rank them. Let's see here. I'm going to be looking at all of these books. If I can... Yep. Okay, there you go. All right. You can't see these books, the titles, but I can because I'm staring at them right now. That's really funny. I feel like the order is pretty close to what I read them in. So, great. Okay, at number 8, we have Sourdough by Robin Sloan. AJ, I'm sorry, I'll get to it. I said that already. I'll get to it, but that's going to be number 8. I'm just not feeling romance. It's probably because in April I read a lot of romance books, so I need a break. I need a breather. I'm going to put Late Bloomer. That's upside down. There you go. Just not into it. Do, 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 do. I am feeling very fantasy, so I feel like I'm going to be choosing one of the fantasy books as my number 1. And for my May TBR, to add to it at least, my loose May TBR, I'm going to do, if I can grab it, Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth is going to be number 6. I don't feel like reading it. Like I said, I kind of am more of a fantasy mood, so The Prison Society is probably going to go as well, since that is full-on contemporary spicy romance. Now we are left with these books. We have Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello, and Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. I've had most of these books for over a year now, so now it comes down to deciding what I really truly feel like reading. On my May TBR, really quickly, I'll just tell you, I have City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, Great Big Beautiful Life, Emily Henry, Passion Tide, Monique Roffey, Water Moon by Samantha Soto, Yum Bao, and then Don't Be a Stranger by Susan Minot. So a lot of these are just contemporary romance and fiction, and we have 2 romantasy fantasy books. One of them is more of a cozy fantasy. Water Moon is supposed to be a cozy fantasy, so I'm probably gonna go for more of a fantasy. I should do it. I should challenge myself. Number 4 is going to be Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. I could read it. I could probably read it and still have a good time, but like I said, I want to pick something that is going to get myself out of my comfort zone. So 4, wait, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I'm the worst. I can't count at all. 3 is going to be Song of the Forever Rains. I have no reason. I don't really feel like reading it based on that paragraph. It was okay. So now we have the last 2, Shadow of the Gods and The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I don't think I can go wrong with either of these books. I'm wondering, so for Shadow of Gods by John Gwynne, this is the Bloodsworn trilogy. I have the first 2 books. I don't own the third one. And then for The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, I own just the first one. Let's see how many pages each is, and that might help me decide. The writing is definitely smaller, or bigger for N.K. Jemisin's book. It's around 450 pages. And then Shadow of the Gods is, the writing is kind of the same. It's like 500 pages. I think I've decided. Why am I so nervous? This is really silly. It's just a book. We're just going to try to read a book. That's all we're doing. Number 2 is going to be Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I think I would really enjoy this book in the grand scheme of today's challenge. I've had Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne for the longest time, and it's time that I read this book. I need to read it. I need to challenge myself. I should try picking it up, especially since I do have the second book. So this is the book that I will be choosing and adding to my May TBR. Let's read the back of this book. Legend tells of the great long ago battle of the gods. When the gods fought, it was a battle so savage they destroyed themselves, leaving nothing but their bones and the broken land of Vigrid in their wake. Now, as whispers of war echo over the fjords and across the plains, fate followed, fate, not faint, in the footsteps of 3 warriors, a huntress on a perilous quest, a noblewoman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall seeking retribution among the mercenaries known as Bloodsworn. All three will change the course of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods. I already love that. This is going to be centered around women, so I think we're going to get their points of views. Yeah, I'm excited. I think this should be good. Thank you, Chelsea, for tagging me. This was a lot of fun. I think this got my gears turning a little bit. I'm trying to find fun and different ways for me to read through my physical TBR since I have over 60 books. So I'm finding ways to, I don't know, get me to read the books that I own before I purchase new books. This is it. I'm gonna leave you to it. I don't know who I'm tagging yet, but I will tag a few friends down below. If you want to do this tag, then go for it. And this is, oh gosh, this was great. I will see you in another video next week, and I can't wait to give you my review on Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.